Bethesda Software has been working on this super hyped game for over 10 years, and I think they have been thinking about it for over 25. So now, let's take a look at Starfield on the Steam Deck. At least during the launch, the game doesn't support 1280x800 being the Steam Deck's native solution, so we'll be playing at 1280x720 with all the settings as low as they get and FSR in 2.0 mode. So let's talk about the gameplay in two different scenes. First, let's talk about fights. Fights can go, like if you're in some inside level, they'll actually not be terrible. They'll play anywhere between low 30s all the way to mid 40s, usually staying around 40 to 45 frames per second. But if you're in an outside level, you're going to notice that your fights can actually go all the way from mid 20s all the way to mid 30s, usually staying around mid 20s to 30 frames per second. But they're actually very playable. There's nothing wrong with them. Actually, the biggest problem is the second way you play the game, obviously with by walking around either towns. So when the towns are very busy with a lot of people, the actual gameplay can actually drop to the teens, all the way to the mid-teens, and stay around 20 frames per second very often. The actual cutscenes themselves, they are in game, so depending on the cutscenes themselves, they can be actually in the 30 to 50 frames per second, usually staying around 30 frames per second, or they can go all the way up to all the way up to 60 frames per second. However, there are other cutscenes that are very quick, like for example, when you're landing on New Atlantis and things like that, it can go all the way again to the teens. So yeah, the frame rate is very inconsistent with the game. That doesn't mean that the game's not playable. Quite the contrary, the game's extremely playable and actually is enjoyable on the Steam Deck. Yeah, the game needs a lot of optimization, and to be honest, it doesn't look as great as it should because we're doing everything on low and with FSR 2, which sometimes gives you shimmers and other artifacts in the actual, especially around characters and things like that. As for the game itself, it's a Bethesda game. If you ever played a Bethesda game, you know what you're getting into. However, if you're expecting something like Baldur's Gate 3, because I played 180 hours in that game already, and I loved every minute of it, it's not on the same level in the sense, it's not the same type of game. So don't expect the same type of RPG as you will actually get in something like Baldur's Gate 3. And again, walking around the cities, you will really see the impact of performance. So this game needs a lot of optimization before it is amazing on the Steam Deck. For now, it is playable. You can have fun on the Steam Deck, but it's not necessarily the best performance you'll ever get in this game. But anyway, I'll let you watch the rest of the video, and I'll see you on the next one.
Here, he'd probably tell you that you're part of some...
We appear to have a visitor.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about. Would you care to tell us what happened to our friend? Why you're here and he isn't? I see. Vasco, verify.
All statements made have been factual.
This is just typical. Barrett hands over our ship and our robot to some random employee of that discount mining outfit he uses.
Walter.
And if we hadn't insisted on installing those emergency protocols, I guarantee you this rock breaker here would be halfway to Neon.
But that didn't happen. He's here with the artifact.
Thank you, Matteo. Now, let's focus on what's in front of us, shall we? What happened when it was extracted? Did anyone see anything?
I'll be at my booth if you need me.
I can assure you this unprovoked attack on a United Colonies research facility will not go unanswered. We'll get you settled into your...
Sergeant Huey is looking for reliable people to help the guard. Contact him if you're interested. We'd all appreciate it.
No bounty. You're clear. Enjoy your visit.
This is New Atlantis Transit, or the NAT. It provides free transportation throughout the city. We can take it directly to the mast